but I want everybody out there who's struggling with imposter syndrome. There's a reason that you felt convicted to go into this field. Can't give up on yourself yet. Yes, if I'm being honest and transparent, my first thoughts were, how much is this going to cost me? For any of those who are looking to go into the tech field, I would really recommend taking some time not to just look at salaries and what you're hearing on social media and the internet.
Hey YouTube, it's the test lead, and today we have episode 3 of my QA journey. On today's episode, we have Jethro Velcime, and he's going to share his QA bootcamp experiences and also how he's transitioning into the QA world. If you'd like to be featured in a future episode to share your QA experiences, please email me at thetestinglead@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And now, let's get into our video.
Hey guys, we're doing another interview about someone sharing their QA experience regarding boot camps and just their QA experience in general. So first off, what is your name and where are you from?
Hey, my name is Jethro Velcime, and I currently reside in Long Island, New York.
Oh wow, New York person, I like that. So thank you for coming on and taking time out of your day to share your experiences. So just to start out, before you had any boot camp or tech experience, what was your background?
So my major from college was psychology. I had a bachelor's. Found myself working for OPWDD. It's just an organization working with people with developmental disabilities. I became a program coordinator, and I was just looking for a transition.
How long were you doing that before you said, hey, I need to transition to something different?
I was in that field for about 5 years, give or take. 5 years.
And to do that transition, you did a boot camp, or what did you do exactly?
Okay, so been a program coordinator for about the past 2 years and change. Started reflecting on what's my next move. Do I want to continue in this career path, or do I want to transition to something else? So I was looking around on YouTube, of course, and actually my cousin, he sent me a video about sales engineering and just talking about these crazy salaries, and I'm just like, wow.
I see all those videos also.
So I'm like, hey, somebody's doing something out there that I never heard about, so let me look into this. So I was just applying to different things, going on Google, seeing what's available, the courses, and a lot of people are reaching out to me, giving me the information, trying to get you to sign up. And eventually, I found my way to careerist.
That's been a popular one. But so you found careerist. What were your thoughts before you signed up? And then once you made that commitment, what was your first thought after that?
I guess if I'm being honest and transparent, my first thoughts were, how much is this going to cost me? The catch.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true, because I talked to a couple of different programs, and price ranges were varying amounts from upwards to 20K. And eventually I talked to careerists, and they talked about having like different financial plans, which obviously is more versatile for people interested. So that's how I eventually made my decision for careerists.
Okay, so you said I'm gonna have this career transition, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna pivot. You found a boot camp for you. You're in the boot camp now. What are the hardest parts in the beginning, the middle, and then the end?
So when I first started, I guess the hardest thing is actually figuring out what you want to sign up into careers for. That was the biggest challenge. For any of those who are looking to go into the tech field, I would really recommend taking some time not to just look at salaries and what you're hearing on social media and the internet, but actually doing research to see what actually aligns with your interests and your skills. Because like I said, I saw that video about the sales engineering, and I'm like, wow, 200K, 150K, 300K.
I see those same videos on YouTube all the time. They get suggested to me all the time.
like sign me up. But after some reflection, I stumbled upon some information about QA, and that's actually what led me to your channel. Actually, I was looking into some basic information. I never heard of QA before. Felt like a hidden organization, but you made everything very clear and distinct, and I actually found myself being able to really comprehend it and finding it interesting. And I'm like, I think I could do this. Uh,
Mhm.
so I called them back careerists and I talked to one of the representatives. And then eventually I decided to do QA. So in the beginning, the first thing that they explained was that the time difference, since I'm in New York, I believe it's Eastern Standard Time, they go by the West Coast time. So around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, that's when the class would start. So,
Yeah.
you shift, you're 9 to 5, you come home, spend some time with the family, the wife, and then try and eat something. And then you have to get yourself mentally prepared for that. So that was a challenge in the beginning for sure.
And then, so that was your first big thing. Like, wow, I gotta. Were you still working at the time, or you just were just doing the boot camp?
I'm definitely still working. I was still working. That's still going on. So I had to really be committed to this. I had to really look myself in the mirror and tell myself you're about to transition to a whole different career field that I didn't go to school for. There's always that sense of imposter syndrome. Like, do I even belong here? Am I even that good with computers? Am I going to be able to follow? Do I even know what coding is? Can I do this? After I got over that, and I started doing the classes at night, it became a challenge at first to be able to give it all of my attention during those hours and to get enough amount of sleep to be able to give your energy to my current job. But once I got used to that, they start giving you courses. They allow you to watch it over again if you missed a class, which is
Yeah.
very helpful. You're able to watch a recorded version, and they give you slides as well for you to review because some people are visual learners, some people got to read. Some challenges I encountered in the middle of that process, I guess I would say grasp something right away. It's a whole bunch of new terminology, things you've never been introduced to before, but it's just all about the work that you're willing to put in. If you're in it for the right reasons, you're going to put the right amount of effort into it. But if you're just looking for a big paycheck or to be a social media person, then I don't know. I'm not saying you won't be successful, but it's going to be a little more difficult.
It's gonna be a lot harder. The day-to-day motivation, if you're just doing it for that quick check, and then you finally reach that goal and you don't get that quick check, you can be like, what?
Yup,
Yeah.
exactly. So I guess towards the end, what they usually do is they give like a final, but even that in itself was doable. All the resources and the material there for you. They even give you an internship period so you could get some practice, and you have a mentor as well at the end. So they have different phases that you cannot transition into before you pass the previous one. So it was very helpful because some people like to do a checklist, and it was good for me because it felt like I was really doing something that helped the time pass by quickly, and I felt accomplished towards the end.
Did you ever get anxious, like, hey, I just want to start applying for stuff?
There's a point after the final because when I talked to one of the representatives, they told me how long the program would take. And I believe once I reached the end, I was like, okay, let's go. And then they're like, okay, now you have to do mock interviews. Now we have to do your resume building. And I remember at one point, I was just like, is there a way we could just fast forward this?
I think I'm ready already, but yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, man. So that was the most anxious part. But overall, I'll say it was a good experience. It taught me a lot of patience, and I'm still learning patience right now.
Okay. And before the boot camp, you had like no QA experience, right? You didn't have no secret QA job.
Nah, none at all. So I had some experience, going on my computer, doing regular work, typing up papers in school, etc. But nothing like we've been introduced to in this program. So if I'm able to do it, I feel like other people out there are able to do it as well.
I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If so, leave a like. Also, please subscribe to my email list on my website. It's free to do, and I plan to come out with a automation as well as a manual QA course this year. If you subscribe, you'll be the first to know, as well as get exclusive discounts. Now back to the video.
So what was your favorite experience, I guess, throughout this whole boot camp? You started it, got through it. What was your actual positive favorite experience?
During the internship, they allowed us to work with a small group, and we had a QA lead in the actual company for real life experience. So the transition to that, I actually appreciated it. The amount of work that they gave us, the deadlines, the scrum meetings that we would have, it really kept you in check. It really prepared you, disciplined you for what a real job might look like. So I appreciate that, being able to network with people. It forces you out of your comfort zone. I understand we're working with tech, and for the most part, we're working with our computers, but it does require communication with actual people, in case people think that tech is just about being in the dark room on your laptop. But it actually forces you to communicate, network to people, go on different networks like LinkedIn, for example, and to message people to try and put yourself out there.
And that's the thing, people kind of miss the communication aspect to it, especially as a QA software tester, because you're part of a team. You're not doing everything by yourself. You have the developers, your team lead, the product owners, all these different people you have to interact with to get your job done.
Exactly.
And people think, oh, I'm gonna be on the beach somewhere doing my own thing. You all have that same common goal with the team members to have the best product for our company. So you have to work together to actually achieve that.
Exactly.
That's the aspect a lot of people miss when they first come into the field.
Exactly. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and it's just up to you to do the proper research, which is why, like I said again, I got to give you your flowers. I really appreciate your channel because you kept it very real and transparent. You didn't sell a false lifestyle. Obviously, there's very successful people in this field, including yourself, but we have to start somewhere. There's an entry point, and then you have to progress your way towards where you want to be. So it's very
man, because I know when I was first starting out a long time ago, I didn't have no connections to anybody. I was by myself, like, hey, so what do I do now? So I guess having, almost like a mentor or someone to look like, oh, that's a guide or path I can follow. Especially because like 6-7 years ago, QA, as you said, QA was like a hidden thing. No one is a kid saying, hey, I want to be a QA when I grow up. That's not a cool thing.
Never heard of it before in my life, ever.
Exactly.
Ever.
I didn't go to college like, hey, I'm gonna be a QA, and
exactly. What was that? The hidden brochure? Like, do I have to be best friends with the deans and know about that? I never heard.
I'm gonna tell my full story one day because I got kind of tricked into being a QA, but the whole story.
Really?
Yeah, I guess I'll make a whole video about it because it's funny.
Wow. Yeah, the people want to know. The people want to know just.
So you did the whole boot camp. You had your internship. Let's rewind back a little bit. Your internship. You were first doing everything. You learned everything from the course. Now applying it to an actual company. Was that a hard transition? Because one thing is I'm learning everything, but actually applying it, was that hard for you?
I'll say yes and no. For everybody is different. So I could say overall, it could probably be nerve-wracking for a lot of people because coming from a whole different career field, I was used to applying to jobs one certain way, interviewing a certain way, and having supreme confidence in my experience in that field. But now I'm dealing with imposter syndrome. I just came out of this internship. I haven't been in this field. There's a whole bunch of super smart, experienced people in the field already. You're hearing about all these layoffs, and now they want you to just go in there and apply with your baby resume. And it's just like, why would anybody hire me with this? But you have to put yourself out there. You have to start somewhere. So I would say from there, I don't think it was hard because they guide you along the way. Really recommend for us to do the mock interviews, which is very helpful because you would think based on the courses that you have a full grasp of all the information, but the mock interviews, they give you specific questions for you to go over. And they really emphasize on your tone and your posture and how confident you sound. And they give you a lot of pointers. And then they also help you with your resume as well. And then they help you with your LinkedIn profile as well. For those of you who are into that as well, they help you with all of that. And then they send you out, they give you your blessing, and then they still keep tabs on you. You can make appointments with them. I still have my mentor till this day, and I still talk weekly or bi-weekly and just keep my mentor updated on my progress and take it from there.
That's really good because the interview process, you could know everything, but the interviewer asks you something a certain way, and you're like, what are they asking me? Because you didn't hear it phrased a certain way before, and now you're thrown off, and you go home like, damn, I know the answer to that.
Yep. That's actually a very humbling thing. I mean, actually, like your channel, just the way you phrase different things, it really opened up my mind to realize that even though I took this one course, that doesn't mean that that's the only way that the field is using that lingo. There are other terms, there are other ways to approach interviews. There's different formats and strategies as well. So one thing I would definitely recommend to anybody in the process of starting or who's in the middle of careers, to my fellow careerists, I would definitely recommend doing your own legwork, do your own research, put some outside time, learn different languages, try and do what you can outside of the course, because regardless, we're going to have to learn to continue to improve ourselves.
So you had the interview prep, you got the confidence down, you still probably a little bit of imposter syndrome, but you're confident enough now. You're going on interviews.
Right.
Do you feel they prepared you enough for an interview and to get a job?
So right now where I'm at,
you could be honest. They're not watching us. So
yeah, I would say based on the one interview I've had so far, just to help people understand where I'm at right now, I've had one company respond back so far, and I understand with all the layoffs and everything going off, and I understand you interviewed Mr. Michael Brown previously. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Another careerist person.
It's a journey trying to apply, waiting. You have to be really patient. You're going to get a lot of rejection emails. And I finally got a response back from a company. I had to do an assessment that was completely out of the norm. I did not expect it.
Yeah.
It was something called Scoutable. Can you unsee something like that? They have different assessments going on right now just to test your visual skills and how much you pay attention to detail and your teamwork ability. So after I did that, I had a pre-screen and they just asked you questions from a rubric. So that was pretty straightforward. And I got the nod from there. So right now, I'm currently in the next round and I have to do another assessment. I have to analyze a website. So I don't know how many rounds I have to go through. That's something that they mentioned. It could be a couple of rounds. So I guess right now what I'm still doing is preparing myself for the actual interview, the technical interview where they ask me a whole bunch of terms. So if I'm being honest, I think they prepare us, but at the same time, I wouldn't just rely on that by itself. I would do your due diligence. I will go on YouTube, Google, look up different terms, testing plans, test strategies, make sure you understand the different terms, the different tools out there. You're a great channel to refer to as well. I felt really prepared after watching you. If you're nervous about interviews, your channel as well gives you typical questions to expect and what to expect as an entry-level QA. So there's a lot of resources out there. Don't just rely on the program.
And that's the thing, like actually going on interviews and getting that interview experience means a lot. Because one thing talking about it, but to be face-to-face with somebody and that job is on the line, that nervousness comes in a lot.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I was sweating. I had a shirt and tie on for the pre-screen, and I was fine on the outside and I got through it great, which is why I got the nod. But I remember after logging off, I got up and just saw puddle. It was just sweat like everything.
But yeah, it's stressful. So do you have any other tips for people that want to take boot camps or are in boot camps or they're just in that QA process?
Tips that I'll give to people that wants to go in, make sure that it's something that you really want to do. Make sure that it's something that's realistic for you. Because like I said, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of success stories, and sometimes we don't pay attention to the grind that was in between before the person became successful. And we think we're just gonna go in there and it's gonna happen 1, 2, 3. But for a lot of people, it's 6 months waiting, a year waiting, a couple of months. So make sure that you are able to endure that period of waiting if you have patience. 2, do research into what actually fits you. I know we're talking about software QA. If that's not for you, there's different things in tech, but make sure that it actually suits your interest and your skill set. And you could pick up skills along the way, but make sure it's something you could see yourself doing long term. Because what's the point of just switching into this just to do something for a check if you don't have an interest in it? Do something that you're interested in.
And that's the whole thing, because like tech is the new hot thing, AI is the new hot thing. So people jumping into tech like, oh, there's a lot of money in there. And as I said before, they get that first job and it's not the money they expect. And I'm like,
Right.
what's the next new thing to chase? And I'm like,
Right.
You have to be in it for the long run.
Exactly.
Especially when you're first starting out, you don't have that full skill set. You're gonna get paid but so much.
Right.
You have to have a reason for a company to pay you more money. As you develop and get more skills, then you can demand more money.
That's right.
But actually telling some people that they're like, nah, but they start to make 6 figures right away. And I'm like,
no.
There may be a few outliers that do hit 6 figures right away. I'm not gonna say that that's a false narrative, but everybody isn't like that.
Right.
There's some people who have connections that, oh, my cousin or uncle is a CEO at that company, so I'm gonna be a shoo-in for it.
Exactly.
But that's also why networking is so important, because you don't know who knows who. Your friend may get a job from the boot camp. Like, hey, I have the same skill set, we learned the same things, and you can apply to them also.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. You're seeing a lot, you're dropping a lot of gems right now. Networking is so important. When you're applying, another point you made, you're gonna go on different job searching sites and see all these crazy salaries and think you're qualified for it just because you want to be in there. You're looking at mid-level to senior positions and you're starting off. The reality is we're junior level with our skills. We're entry level. And the best thing you could do is to add more skills to yourself outside when you have your own personal time. For example, I'm trying, keyword trying, to learn Python right now and just different things. But I understand at the end of the day, it's just about patience, getting my foot in the door and taking it from there. You just need one company to believe in you for it to make a difference. So
yeah, that's really it. Like even my first job in the field, it was stressful. It took months. The thing is now these companies, a lot of companies will give you that rejection letter or rejection email. When I used to apply to my jobs, you didn't hear back sometimes. You're like, so how did I do?
wow.
You hear back months later when you already got a job and still a denial letter. And I'm like, what?
That's cold. That's cold. Yeah, I've had a lot of rejection emails. So like my mindset is just I'm expecting that. Like I'm going to see a lot of those and just wait for that one. And
that's the thing. You can't become intimidated by that or get discouraged. It's all a numbers game.
Right.
You may have a 10% chance of actually getting a job. So you got to apply to at least 10 jobs to get that one, maybe interview. And then from there, you may have a 0.1% chance of actually getting that job.
Right.
So apply to 100 companies.
Exactly.
People think that, oh, because I have this on my resume now as a junior or entry level, I'm gonna get people just begging for me to work for them. It's not like that yet. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Once you have experience on your LinkedIn and stuff like that, like years of experience, you have recruiters reaching out to you every day.
Yep.
Like right now, I don't have any new resumes out in the world, but every day I get emails, stuff will come like, hey, we have this new position here. Only thing, hey, this company here is a good fit for you. They want to inquire. And I'm like, I'm not looking right now. But it's just getting your foot in the door, getting that experience and that knowledge and being comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. That's
Because
yeah.
a lot of things, even like with traditional college, if you just go there to memorize stuff to pass a test, and then after 4 years, you don't have anything to show for it because you don't actually know anything. You just memorize something for a test, regurgitate for the test, and then you have no actual skill set. You got memorizing stuff for a short period, but your actual skill set, what is it?
Right. Exactly.
And same with boot camps. If you're just memorizing something for a short period to pass the assessments or the final, they're not actually developing as a person, or just relying solely on the boot camp. Like, oh, they're going to take care of me.
You can't have that mindset.
Exactly. I don't just wait for everything to align. Make things align for you.
Exactly. And even for myself, I mentioned I'm in like the second round, or however you want to phrase it. And even with that, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, just trying to gain whatever experience I can. I'm going to put all of my effort into it. And God willing, if I get the position, thank you. But if not, then just keep on grinding, sending out my resume, keep on trying to grind, learn, sharpen my skills, and continue to put myself out there. Because like I said, once one company gives you that chance, that's how you start your journey. Like,
exactly. And then even that first company, because like I'm gonna have a whole video about my job history. My first company was terrible to me. It was a terrible environment, stuff like that.
oh wow.
But they gave me that opportunity to say, hey, here's your foot in the door now. So I thank them for that. I love them for that, because a lot of companies weren't giving me a chance in the beginning.
Right.
But they gave me that initial experience. So after that, I can leverage that experience to get better jobs. But just getting that first job is like, it's a headache.
Wow. I have a question for you actually. Did you start your YouTube channel in the beginning of your journey? Did you do it like in the middle?
So I've been in the field almost 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I have my YouTube channel for about 2 years now.
Okay.
But it's just that because I was in the same boat you guys were, where I had almost extra resources to learn things.
Mm-hmm.
And on YouTube, there wasn't many resources, or it's hard to understand the resources. So I'm like, it's helpful, but it's only to a certain extent.
Right.
So once I was more confident, had my skill set more developed, I'll say, hey, I'm trying to give back and share my experiences and knowledge to help other people who may be struggling. I wish I started 8 years ago to just show my journny. So the play-by-play, hey, this year I had a bad week. My boss beat me.
I can only imagine. And like I say, we appreciate you and everything that you're giving back, because it's very encouraging. Like I said, that's the reason I'm here talking to you right now. I was just on YouTube, just looking for something to like encourage me, and then I came to your channel. A lot of helpful information. Just commented under, and now I'm speaking to you, so it's very encouraging. So,
and that's the thing. I appreciate people that do leave the comments, because I have some videos that have like 100+ comments, people talking to each other. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So eventually I'm gonna try to build like a community of people to just, hey, if you want to interact with each other, network and things like that.
Right.
But I do appreciate you leaving that comments. That's how we connected now.
Yes.
And not being scared to connect.
Mm-hmm. And that's the number one thing that everybody who's gonna do this journey, in the middle of this journey, you will have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You will have to reach out to people. You cannot sit down and wait for people to reach out to you. Somebody eventually will, but you're limiting your opportunities if you're not trying to reach out. The worst that can happen is they don't respond back to you. They say, I can't help you at this time. They say no. Okay, now you know for sure.
Exactly. The worst someone can say is no.
Right.
And you just keep it moving. At least you know you're not gonna wonder what if.
Exactly.
That's a life lesson, not just for the great stuff.
Yeah, I'll put yourself out there.
But I appreciate all the information you gave to the people watching. Any closing remarks, tips, anything about you want to share? Can they connect with you if they want any tips, or to just have people to bounce ideas off of?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll post my email. I'm not deep in the field yet. Like I said, I'm still looking for a job, but I want everybody out there who's struggling with imposter syndrome. There's a reason that you felt convicted to go into this field. You can't give up on yourself yet. I know there's a lot of people who's still job hunting right now. You're thinking about giving up, telling yourself this was a mistake, a waste of money. Don't give up on yourself yet. Write it out, endure. It's gonna pay off. Shout out once again to Michael Brown, my fellow careerist. Congrats, seriously, that's a good success story, and hopefully I'll be able to reach back out to you to let you know that somebody finally took a chance on me. Keep you posted about how this current process is going. But just keep your faith alive, guys. God is good. He'll take care of us. We're good to go.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do a follow-up 6 months from now or a year from now. Just to, people are invested now. Like, hey, they heard your story. And like, hey, I'm on a cliffhanger. What's gonna happen next for him?
Hopefully, I have some good news. But I know I will.
Exactly. It's all about your mindset.
Yes.
But stay on. We're gonna talk after this. But thank you for taking your time out today. If anyone has any questions, I'll have his email address on the screen right now. But once again, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Really appreciate you.
And that's the end of the interview. I hope you found it helpful. If so, please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or suggestions for future videos, please leave them below. If you need help on your QA journey, please check out my book, QA Must Know Vocabulary. And most importantly, don't forget to learn something new today.